So, American Sniper set a box office record of $90 million on its first weekend. $90 million. But not only has it done that, it's also sparked a bunch of racist tweets all over the internet and Twitter and whatever the fuck. Because it's making people feel more patriotic, American people feel more patriotic, and hate Muslims just a little more. So, amongst everything we have going on right now with all this stuff in France and all this stuff going on, and even Belgium, they had some threat or whatever, all over Europe, and then this movie comes out in America, they're killing Muslims, and it's like awesome, you know, it makes people want to be more American and hate Muslims even more. So I wanted to get to this a little bit, you know, of course there were some death threats given to the, the director, the producers, and all that stuff for making this film. But I'm just kind of scared, honestly, because like the Islamophobia is like really on a rise. And there's something else I wanted to mention too, because something they say a lot with this about this whole French shooting thing. Like, how do I put it? Okay, a lot of 12 people were killed because they didn't just draw the image of Muhammad. That's not really what they were just killed for. They drew a very offensive image of the Prophet Muhammad. That's what happened. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying how it is. They drew an extremely offensive image of the Prophet Muhammad with a knife to his throat. So then those guys, sent a threat, they didn't listen to the threat, then 12 of them got killed, right? But what's interesting is, in America especially, but in Europe sometimes too, like, depending on what's going on, they may ignore sensitivity and say freedom, and sometimes they ignore freedom and say sensitivity. Example. I remember when I was in Budapest, Hungary, and I was talking to some girls, I think they're from Switzerland, and we were talking about the word nigger. I don't know how it popped up, we were just talking about it, and apparently they had a restaurant, and you can look this up, they had a restaurant, or not a restaurant, but like some place where you could buy sweets, whatever, and they had these famous chocolate round sweets that they sold, and the place was called Nigger Balls. So I'm not sure how long Nigger Balls were open, but eventually they end up closing Nigger Balls because it was offensive to people. In that case, sensitivity comes over freedom, because you have the freedom to name something Nigger Balls, don't you? You have the freedom. But in that case, over sensitivity conquers freedom. Same thing in America. If we were to make a magazine called Talking About the 1800s, and on the cover it just shows two Klan men giving each other a high five, and there's two black men hanging in the background, people will be very offended, and they'll probably end up pulling the magazine, which these kind of things happen a lot in America. But in that case, sensitivity overcomes freedom. So I just want to know, why is it so hard to be sensitive towards religion? I mean, you don't have to be. You don't have to be. I'm just saying, why are we picking and choosing what we're being sensitive about? It's either going to be sensitive about everything, or you're not going to be sensitive about anything at all. That's how I see it. So I think the West is kind of hypocritical here, because whenever someone seems to be like I am right now, whenever someone seems to say something like, hey, maybe it's just a good idea not to do it. Oh, you let the terrorists win. You're letting the terrorists win. First of all, I don't give a fuck about what the terrorists did. I'm not the one parading, oh my God, 12 dead. That's not really what's on my mind. That's unfortunate, but that's not what's on my mind. What's on my mind is the millions of people who aren't terrorists that are offended. Because actually, you're letting the terrorists win, because you're letting what these terrorists did affect what you do from now on. How do you kill terrorism? It does nothing to you. You try to prevent it from happening, but if it happens, fuck them. We do what we want. We don't respond like, let's piss them off or something. No. Unless you were really planning on making your next cover about Muhammad, why is it about Muhammad again? Why is he on it again? Because you're responding to terrorism. I wouldn't respond to terrorism. You understand? I wouldn't respond to it. You do you. What was the plan? You changed your plan because of terrorism. That's what I'm saying. So in a way, you're letting terrorism win. So when I think about, maybe it's not a good idea to have the Prophet Muhammad on the cover, just stop doing it, it's not because of the terrorist attack. Like I said before, I'm not thinking about that. It's all these countries and people marching, asking, hey, get rid of it, this and that, this and that. I'm like, wow, people going crazy, And it's their religion. If there's anything I respect more than anything else, it's people's religion. I respect a person's religion on a level in which they respect it. So the reason why I don't respect Christianity that much, at least in America, especially with black people, is because a lot of them claim to be Christians, but look what the fuck they do. the Lord knows me and all this shit. 5 kids, 6 different fathers. Think about it. So I don't take it that seriously because they don't take it that seriously. But when it's a religion, especially in a place where it's taken seriously and stuff, I respect it more for their sake because they really believe in that stuff. So I respect it more. You know, if I hold a girl's hand out here in Russia, people won't like it. They'd be mad, but hey, that's just their problem. It's not some religious thing. It's just they hating. Not all of them, of course, but some of them. But most of them just ignore it. But some of them get mad just because he's with one of our women, blah, blah, blah. That's just you being mad. There's no religion involved with that. But in Chechnya or in Syria and all these places, it doesn't matter. If you're non-Muslim and even if you're Muslim and you're holding hands with a woman who's not in your family and not, you're not married and stuff like that, it's very offensive to them. It's against the rules. So in their country, I would not do it. But let's go to something else. The fact is, this did happen in France. This happened in France. It didn't happen in some Muslim country or some Muslim province, whatever you want to call it. This happened in France. So they should be able to draw the Prophet Muhammad, right? According to French law, yes. But then that brings me back to this. Why can we be sensitive to race, sexual orientation, and all this other stuff, and we just can't be sensitive towards Islam? I just want to know why not. That's it. I just want to know why not. You know, because if it was something ridiculing gays and shit, oh, you know people would have went crazy and they would have probably pulled that magazine. But if it's criticizing the Prophet Muhammad and really offending people, no one even thinks of pulling it. And then whenever I say maybe they should stop doing it, oh, you let the terrorists win. I'm not thinking about the fucking terrorists. I'm thinking about the millions upon millions of people who are greatly offended by it because you're offending their religion with what you do. That's it. I mean, it's not like you're just living your life and they're like, we don't like the way you live. It's you're drawing their profit. Of course, that might offend them. We all have people we care about. But this person is, I believe, a little more than just a person. It's a prophet. So it's like drawing Jesus in his, you know, I hope you understood that. You know, a lot of people will be greatly offended and might have to get pulled. But, like, this sensitivity just doesn't go towards Islam for some reason. That's all I want to know. We get black sensitivity, immigration sensitivity, homosexual sensitivity, transgender sensitivity, but never any Islamic sensitivity. Well, maybe it happens sometimes, but not enough. But why in this case can't we have Islamic sensitivity? That's all I want to know. Why can't we have it in this case? If it was a black or gay thing, we might have it. But because it's Islam, it's just not happening. Just let me know. And if all you can say is because that don't give the terrorists a right, I'm not thinking about the fucking terrorists. Once again, I would say the same thing even if the terrorist attacks didn't happen. The point is there's millions upon millions of people marching and pissed off. We're hurting a lot of people's feelings. That's why we pull a lot of those magazines and stuff. What the fuck? That's why we pull a lot of those magazines and stuff because they offend a lot of people. Anti-black, anti-gay, whatever it seems. Why can't we pull something when it's anti-Islam and there's millions of people upset? That's it. And I'm out. Later.